Hi, welcome to the Gamesplainer. I'm Jeff the Gamesplainer, and today I'm gamesplaining Grand Austria Hotel. In the game of Grand Austria Hotel, each of the players is the owner of a hotel, which is this board. Each player has their own hotel board. At the bottom of the hotel is a cafe. Your job is to attract customers to your cafe. Customers will come from the main board. Feed them what they require, and then once they are fed, move them to rooms of their matching colour. Each round begins with one player rolling all of the dice, then organising those dice onto the board so that their numbers are together underneath their matching numbers. Each turn starts with selecting a new customer to come to your cafe. You do not have to do this, so if your cafe is full, notice there are only 3 tables available, you won't be able to add any more customers. The cost to get that customer to your hotel is dependent on the number of money below that customer card. So these two are only going to cost nothing, so you get those guys for free. And as you come further up the line, they'll cost 1, 2, and 3 money. Once one of these customers has been selected, so for example, first player might select that customer, he comes into your hotel. All of the other potential guests will then move down the line and a new one comes into the line. And you'll pay the money. Money is tracked on this line, so if that, for example, cost him 1 money, he would then just move his counter down 1. We don't have physical money in this game, just a marker to show us where the money is. You can have a maximum of 20 money. He would then go and have a look at the dice and select an action. The number of dice on an action tells you how many times you can do that particular action. So really quickly, let's run through it. From this end, the first one enables you to take a brown or a white cube. What are these cubes? I'm so glad you asked. These cubes are the foods and beverages available at the cafe. The brown cube is strudel, the white cube is cake. While we're at it, the black cube is coffee, the red cube is wine. I always forget what those cubes are representative of. I mean, coffee and wine's okay, but strudel and cake are the ones I usually forget. So I'll just talk in colours. Now, you'll notice that symbol means you must have either equal numbers or more of the strudel. So with 1 die only, he could only take a brown strudel. If there is a customer in your cafe that is looking for brown strudel, you would be able to put that cube directly onto the customer and that customer is now fed. Obviously this one's looking for cake, not strudel, so he'd be a very grumpy customer if you did that. So you can't do that. So if there's nothing available here, you put your cube into the kitchen. Food and drink can be moved out of your kitchen at a cost of 1 money for 3 cubes. So at the moment, if I want to feed him, and I can do this anytime during my turn, I would pay 1 money to move that one out. Now that seemed like it was a high expense because I've only moved 1 cube. I'd probably wait till I've got at least 1 other customer to be able to move some other cubes out onto their thing. So if that customer was in there as well, I've paid 1 money, I can now also move a brown and a red. The number 2, notice I've rolled 3 dice on the number 2, which means I can either take 3 of the red cubes, I can take 2 red and 1 black. I cannot take 1 red and 2 black because red has to be the greater of the items taken. So if I'm going to take 2 red and 1 black, I'll add them also to my kitchen. If this was the customer I picked up earlier, 2 of those reds that I just brought in would go straight onto his card, and I might just leave that there for the moment so we can see how that runs in a little while. Next thing along the line is number 3. That's preparing a room. So for every die in the number 3 line, you'll get to prepare a room. What is preparing a room? That is adding one of these tiles onto the hotel. Once guests are fed, they're going to go into those rooms, and so you would flip the tile over. I'll show you about that a bit more in a second, which means there's a guest in there. So you need to make sure that you've got enough rooms prepared for these guests, because until they can go into a room, you're not going to be able to score them or get their bonuses. Now, when you're preparing rooms, they must be next to or above already prepared rooms or filled rooms for that case. So I could prepare this room. The cost for doing so is just here, so it's free on the bottom line. Or I could prepare the room above that one, and that would cost me 1 money. Or I could prepare either of the yellow rooms, also for 1 money. For the moment, I will prepare the red room above that one, and that will cost me 1 money, so you'll move that down the line. Obviously, if there was more than 1 die in the number 3, I'd be able to do that once for every die that's up there. The number 4 line allows me to add money. So there's only one die up there, which means I can add 1 money back into my kitty. Or you'll notice there's a little statue. That statue is of the Emperor. There is another element to this game that we need to watch out for. It is called the Emperor track. That's this line here. At the end of every round, we will move this marker along one. When that marker gets up to an Emperor spot, we will have an Emperor scoring round. What that means is, wherever your markers are along the Emperor track, we score. So first up, you'll get points for the number underneath where your Emperor is. So in this case, yellow would get 5 points and blue would get 3 points. Then we move, because this is the first scoring for the Emperor track, we will move the tokens backwards 3 spots. Once you've moved them backwards 3 spots, any tokens that are in the yellow part, so 3 and above, will get the top half of this card as a bonus, which is an added 3 money. So in this case, yellow would get 3 more money. Any that are where the blue is, so on 1 or 2, nothing happens. If they end up back at 0, the Emperor's angry and you get a negative. And it's your choice to lose 3 money or lose 5 points. If one of those options isn't possible, you have to choose the other one. So blue is only on 3 points at the moment. He's not able to lose 5 because they were put him below 0. So he would have to lose 3 money. I've made an assumption there. I can't find anywhere in the rules, and someone might be able to add a comment below this if they disagree with it, that you can't go into negative points. You may be able to, but I haven't come across that in the game yet. So by the time you get up to that scoring, I would assume that you've got more than 5 points, so it won't be an issue. So on the 4, just to reiterate, you either get to move your money counter up 1 or you get to move up 1 on that Emperor track. So he would move 1 forward there if he wished to. Number 5, for each of the dice that show a 5, you would get to employ 2 workers. So everyone has a starting hand of 6 workers. The name of the worker is there, the number is there. You can look up what they all do in the rulebook, but there's some little icons on the bottom to help remind you. So for example, this one would enables you all the time, so it's an ongoing thing, enables you to bring in guests from that row without ever having to pay for them. The cost to employ them is up on the top right hand corner, and so with 2 number 5s, I'm able to employ 2 of my guys if I can afford to. So if I want to employ both of them, it would cost me 11 money. Blue currently has 11 money. I'll put both of them down, move my money down to 0, and now as an ongoing thing, I can get guests without having to pay for them, and whenever I move guests into a room, I will get an extra money for it. And the last action, number 6, allows you to use the number of dice that show 6, so in this case 2, as if they were rolled on any other action. So if I wished to use the 6, I could go, I need to get a brown and a white. I will pretend those 2 6s are number 1s. It will cost me 1 money to do so. So if I'm on 0, I can't do it. If I happen to be there, it costs me 1 money. Those 2 as number 1, and then I could take both a brown and a white. Now, whenever you select one of these numbers, you'll remove one of the dice. So the player order is marked by these. The first player might go, okay, I'm going to use the number 2s. He'll take his cubes and he'll remove that number 2. Now, the next player only has 2 to choose from, not 3 to choose from. One other thing with the dice rolling, you can spend 1 money to add to the dice roll. So if I've rolled 2 1s and I really need 2 brown and a white, I could spend 1 money and then assume it's 3 1s and take the 2 brown and the white. And that's the same for every one of the options to select. The other option you have on your turn is to pass. If there's nothing you wish to use, just pass. It goes on to the next one, next one, next one. Once everyone has had a chance to take their dice, the lowest number, so in this case, player number 2, will remove one of the dice to the trash bin and then re-roll all of the dice. Number 2, or player number 2, will then get to choose their action. They might want to do this one, drop a die, take their 2 pieces, and then anyone else who hasn't yet gone, so player number 3, would then also choose from them, or they could pass again. Number 4 would have a chance, he could do it, or pass. If they all pass again, the lowest number, remove a die, roll them all again, and keep going like that. Anytime on your turn, once one of your tables is full, you can return their goods to the supply, take the points as marked in the top right hand corner. In this case it's 0 points, but some of them have 7 points, for example on this one, and then take the bonuses as marked on the tablecloth. So in this case he gets to take a bonus of a cube of any kind and 2 money. So he'd push his money up to there, take a cube. This guest needs to go to a yellow room. So he would turn that yellow room over onto its back. That then goes into a discard pile. Whenever you complete a section, so a section is where all of one color is joined together, so in this case 3 yellow, or if you do just the 1 blue, look up to the top of your board and there's a bonus. So if he did 3 yellow, that would get him 6 points on the Emperor track. If he closed up the blue, that would get him 2 more points on the actual points track. And if he closes up all 4 of the rooms on the red, he'll get 10 money. There are points at the end of the game for every room on each level that is closed, so has a guest in it. The points are marked on the column, so if you can get guests into the top row, you're going to get 4 points. Any of these doors that have points on them, you get those points when you prepare the room. So by preparing that room, that would give me 2 points. Obviously, I can't prepare that unless I've also got the ones below or next to it prepared also. Any guests that have a green tablecloth can go into any of the available rooms. They're non-specific room colours. The only other element to deal with are the politics cards. They're the 3 up the top there. They're available to anyone and you get a lot of points by fulfilling them. So the first player to get their marker up to the number 10 on the Emperor track will put one of their markers up onto that politics card and take the 15 points. The second person who manages to do that would then only get the 10 points. And each of the politics cards are different. There's an explanation of what each one does in the back of the rules, but really quickly, the B one is for occupying all the rooms in 6 groups. If you look at one of the boards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's actually 10 groups possible on a board. Some of them are obviously larger than the other. So as soon as you've got 6, you can claim that one. And the other one is for having at least 4 red rooms occupied and 3 yellow rooms occupied. So as soon as you've got that, you can claim those points. I believe that's all of the rules. The game goes on for 7 rounds as marked by this indicator. There's a lot of iconography in the game, but all of it is explained in the rules manual. There's no point in me going into any more of it. You can just look it up and it's fairly straightforward once you look it up. And it would just take far too long to go through all the cards because every card has something slightly different. So I'll leave it there. Please go on and watch my Gamesplayed video to get an idea of how the first round or so goes. If you have any comments or suggestions, please write them below. If you have any games that you wish to be Gamesplaned, please shoot me an email at thegamesplainer@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at thegamesplainer to see what games I've been playing. Subscribe to my videos to keep up to date with the games that I'm gamesplaining. And until next time, enjoy gaming.